Okay, let's be real. I know it's been a long ass time since I made my part one on the new season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. But with that being said, not only is this video going to be about part two, but it's going to be about the reunion specifically. But let's start with the actual elephant in the room. Or I guess it wouldn't really be the elephant considering everybody's talking about it. And it is Demi, her husband, Marciano, and the drama with Demi and the rest of the girls. One thing that I noticed about Demi's husband is that he is a master deflector. He knows how to dodge the important questions, including the one that Jen asked of whether or not a specific text to Marciano was deemed inappropriate by him. Are you not bothered that your wife was texting another man in this way? And he managed to dodge the answer altogether. One of the many things that I wish the reunion focused on is the fact that Demi's husband seems to not really care about the fact that she was extremely flirtatious, about the fact that she was stepping out of her marriage and cheating emotionally and potentially physically. But let's just say she was sexually assaulted, right? We're going to get to that later. It seems to me like he is allowing that to cloud the fact that she was being unfaithful. No one ever seems to be addressing the fact that he is very chill with her behavior, and that's very odd to me. One thing we all know is that he is her guard dog. He will justify her toxic behavior over and over and over again, even when he is the victim. Even when he is the one getting hurt as a result of her toxic behavior. Because we already know he justifies it when the victims are her friends. But now it's him on the receiving end. He's the one that is having an unfaithful wife, but he somehow manages to turn a blind eye, which makes me question a lot about their marriage and the dynamic between the two of them. For all we know, they could be a very fluid, open marriage. And if that's what they are, that's what they are. But it doesn't seem that way, considering part of the drama is her being a way too flirtatious for a married woman. And another one of my qualms with the reunion, and I haven't seen too many people talk about this, is the host. No shade. I don't know her on a personal level. I don't know the ins and outs of being a reunion host, but that was a hard watch. She could not control the room. She could not facilitate conversation. She would abruptly cut off people. And I understand you have to move on to the next topic, but she did not do it in a way that was organic or fluid or honestly even respectful. At one point, I actually saw a video from Michaela saying that she felt like she was cut off a lot. And when she was trying to talk about her trauma, when she was trying to be vulnerable and transparent in that space, the host seemed to abruptly just try to get her to move on to the next thing, or the host's response to Michaela's trauma was extremely insensitive. After seeing that video, it validated my assumption that the host was not really doing her job the right way. In, again, my opinion. You could easily see how flustered she was when things got heated. And part of hosting for a reality TV reunion is to be able to contain the drama, but allow some of it to play out, right? But when things get a little bit out of control, you have the capacity to contain. As a marriage and couples counselor, I have to have that skill. If I notice my couples are getting out of hand and it's getting a little bit too triggering and it's getting a bit too chaotic, I have to be able to contain them and bring them back and get them to refocus. But she seems to be very flustered when it's her time to do that. With that being said, now let's go back to the main topic, right? With Demi, a lot of people have probably been wondering what my thoughts are. Do you believe, as a trauma therapist who has worked with SA survivors, do you believe that she's being honest? And as opinionated as I am for a therapist on this app, this is the one thing where I feel like I need to take a step back just a wee bit, just because I think it's way more nuanced than people think. I will say this. I will say that how Demi treats these women is unacceptable. I will say that Demi does have some sort of narcissistic tendencies. I'm not saying she's a narcissist. There's no formal diagnosis. I do believe that Demi really struggles with taking accountability. I do believe that Demi can be a bully. I do believe that Demi has a lot of inner work to do and has a lot of healing to do. And with that being said, when it comes to sexual assault, this is the thing. One of the arguments people are utilizing to prove that she's lying is the fact that she has been very flirtatious with Marciano. And this is the thing. With sexual assault survivors, there is a trauma response called fawning. And it's when you give in to the aggressor. It's when you suddenly play nice. You're very sweet, you're accommodating, and it's very confusing. And it happens a lot when someone who has maybe dealt with some sort of child sexual assault or child abuse felt like they had to appease the abuser in order to be safe. I'm not saying she's being 100% honest. I don't know. Ultimately, I do not know. But what I do know is that it's not uncommon for people to then be kind or even flirtatious or even sexual with someone who just assaulted them, regardless of their relationship status. So I want you to follow me on this because this is a hot take that many people may disagree with me on, and that's fine. The part of her story, her allegations that make me question her integrity and make me question whether or not she's being honest and truthful is not the fact that she was being flirtatious with Marciano, because as I explained, it actually is a trauma response for some victims. What has me questioning Demi, one, besides her overall just treatment of people in this entire show, is how she handled the situation with Chase. She was so quick to label that as him physically assaulting her, or I don't remember the exact verbiage she used, but she tends to, exaggerate stories. She tends to quickly villainize men and label herself a victim in a situation that's actually this small. So because of how quickly she was able to label Chase as almost an aggressor when all he did was nudge her, that makes me question her integrity a little bit. Absolutely, I'm not going to lie to you. I think Demi needs to understand how her treatment of others throughout the show has put her in a position where people will not trust her. People will judge her harshly. People will not empathize with her because she does not extend that to others, right? She expects from others, but will not extend that same empathy and kindness and respect in return. And until that day comes, until she can be kind, empathetic, respectful, take accountability, it is going to put her in a really, really hard position. Those are my thoughts. Overall, this show has been all drama, but honestly, it's been all trauma. And as much as it's good TV, I can imagine how activating, how triggering this could be for anybody watching, regardless of which side you're on.